Create the life you want and don't settle. A step-by-step guide to success by me. So this week we're going to talk about eliminating debt. So we know in our previous educational focuses, we talked about first. Does anyone know what we talked about first? What was that, Sister Howard? Minimizing taxes. Okay, and what we talked about was, does anyone remember the main topic that I was discussing? Sister Elaine?
To go online and do the estimation thing on the internal revenue site to show you how much taxes to pay. Because sometimes we overpay in our taxes. So
Exactly. So we talked about adjusting our W-4s at work so that we aren't overpaying in taxes. Okay, and then on the following Sunday, does anyone remember what we talked about last Sunday? We talked about generating business income. We talked about branding ourselves, how to get our business off the ground, how to generate income via our anointing. Okay, so this week we're going to talk about eliminating debt. And the reason I wanted to recap on those prior educational focuses, because a way to eliminate debt is, what we're going to talk about is first the 50-30-20 budget, then the snowball method, and then also credit repair. So first I'll go over the 50-30-20 budget. So the 50-30-20 budget is where you take your income and you separate it into percentages. 50% of your income, 30% of your income, 20% of your income. So the 50% of your income is going to go to your essentials. Can anyone tell me what might be essentials?
Your mortgage.
Your mortgage, exactly. Dr. McCoy?
Your car payment.
Car payment, insurance, light bill, yes, utilities, life insurance, tithes. Actually, for this example, I'm glad that you said that, Sister Olson. For this example, I want you to have already removed your tithes. So 50-30-20 won't include your tithes because you've already, exactly. All right, so those are some of the essentials that we need. Now your 30% is going to go to your wants. What are some things that we want? New shoes, shopping, eating out. Anyone else? Clothes. Okay, and then so for 20%, we're going to save that for our financial goals and for maybe a rainy day. Exactly. So 20% of your income will go to savings. So we'll go to the next slide. And so for this 50-30-20 budget, we want to minimize our wants. So what can you sacrifice to get out of debt?
Eating out.
Eating out. Some of your shopping. Anything else? That coffee, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $6.50 for a cup.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Save on gas. Okay, great. Those are great ways. Dr. McCoy?
Don't get my nails done as often.
Exactly. Exactly.
Once a month.
Exactly. That was something I was thinking of. I know that Sean, he used to cut his own hair. So that's a way that males can cut costs by saving on haircuts. Right? My dad cuts his own hair. Any other ideas that we could, something that we could cut out of our wants? Mm-hmm. Right, we could cut cable, use our Fire Sticks, because they give live TV, all the movies you want. You don't even have to go to the movie theater. They're right there. Just all you need is internet. Okay, so these are ways that we can minimize our wants. So also, I want to talk about our previous educational focuses, because the W-4, minimizing our taxes, now that is also generating more money into our income, hopefully. And then also, if we have a business, and now we're starting to gain a little income from our business. That's another way to increase our cash flow. So next slide. So we'll go down into our snowball method.
How about, wise ways to pay, such as on buying things on sale, couponing more.
Yes, coupons, sales. That's perfect. That's perfect. Those are ways that we can minimize our wants and generate income back into our homes. And what we can do with this is now eliminate our debt. So I want to talk about the snowball method. And this is a method that you can use to eliminate your debt. So let's say after you've corrected your W-4, after you've got your business off the ground, now you have $200 extra a month. Okay, so what we're going to do with that $200 extra a month, hopefully you can see my chart here. So I listed all my debts from the lowest debt to the highest debt. So as you can see, I have a Lowe's card. The balance is $450. My minimum payment is $50. So what I'm going to do is take the $200 extra a month that I now have, and instead of paying that $50 a month, I'm going to pay $250 a month on that. So in 2 months, I will have eliminated that Lowe's debt. Okay? So now that $250 that I have, I'm going to continue paying all the rest of my minimum payments for those 2 months. But now, I have a Target card with $650 debt. So and my minimum payment is $30. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add that $250 to that $30 payment. You following me here? Okay, now I'm going to be paying $280 on my Target card. And so in 5 months, I'll be able to eliminate that debt. Now, as I'm eliminating debt, I'm not creating debt. So what do you want to do with those Lowe's and Target card after you get done with them? Exactly. Some people like to freeze them in ice, put them in their freezer until all their debt has cleared. If you are disciplined, you can just put it in your drawer. Just don't use it if you're going to be accumulating debt. So we're going to keep going with the snowball effect. So now we have a Visa. We've got $3,400 on there in debt. Our minimum payment is $200. So now we're going to take that $280 that we have, and we're going to add it to that $200. Now we're paying $480 every month for that. So that debt is gone in 10 months. Now we have a car. We owe $7,000 on the car. Our payment for the car is $400. We're going to add the $480 to the $400. Now we have $880 that we're paying every month on our car until it's paid off. Okay, so that's going to be 14 months for that to happen. Then we have student loans. So $9,000 in student loans. Our minimum payment is $200. Now we're able to pay $1,080 a month towards our student loan debt. And so in 20 months, we'll be debt-free. So a total debt to be eliminated was $20,500. And if we keep up this plan, our debt is eliminated in 1 year and 8 months. We'll be debt-free. So go through your income. Go through your budget. Think of things that you can eliminate to save money. Not just to save money, but to get out of debt. Our goal is to be debt-free. So how can we do this? We just have to budget. We have to look over our finances. If you don't know what you're spending money on, pull up your bank account. Pull up just 1 month. Maybe go back 2 months and see exactly what you're spending money on. Say, do I really need this? Do I really need to spend this much money on gas every month? Okay, maybe I need to think about taking the bus, or think about calling my coworker who lives right down the street and we can go to work together. Okay, so that is the snowball method. Now, there's another method with the snowball method. So this right here, we listed our debts from lowest to highest. Some of us, our debts are acquiring interest. So it might be wiser to list our debts from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. Because in the long run, we'll be paying more in interest, even though we have, let's say, a higher debt, but well, let's say a lower debt but a higher interest rate, we might want to, you know, depending on the person, depending on the situation, you might want to let your debts from highest interest rate and get those higher interest rates paid off first, because the more interest you pay, the more money, you know, your debt is just getting bigger. So you might want to do it that way. Okay, so next slide. Well, do I have any questions on the snowball method? Everyone's good? Okay, next slide. Okay, so next I would like to talk about credit repair. So payment history counts the most towards your credit score. However, it is only 35% of the overall count. So a smart strategy can pick up 65% in other areas to give you an increased score. So I wanted to talk about credit repair last because eliminating our debt is going to have an impact on our credit. But sometimes we don't know exactly what is affecting our credit. We don't even know what our credit score is a lot of times. So next slide. This is how you can get your credit reports. So federal law allows you to get a free copy of your credit report every 12 months from each credit reporting company. So that means you can contact Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. You want to contact all three and get your credit report every year for free. They have to give it to you. They can't charge you. Now, let's say you lose it, then they can charge you for another copy. So annualcreditreport.com allows you to request your credit report. So if you need help with getting your credit report, you're not really tech savvy, you don't know how to get online, just let me know. I can help you request your credit report. Also, I wanted to talk about credit monitoring. So when you're working on your credit score, you need to monitor it. Now, there are companies that charge for credit monitoring, but creditkarma.com allows you to check your credit score and monitor it for free. It only has two. I think it has Equifax and TransUnion, but you can check those two for free. There's actually another website, it's nav.com, that lets you check your Experian for free. So if you use all these websites in conjunction, you'll be able to have an idea of what's affecting your credit score. Okay, next slide. So when you're repairing your credit, you want to identify errors on your credit report. For instance, like my mom, let you all know, last Sunday I'm helping my family repair their credit. So my brother, Luke Jr., I was helping him repair his credit. So we went on creditkarma.com and looked at his credit report. And we saw that he had a negative account, a derogatory mark on his credit for DirecTV. He's never had a DirecTV bill in his name. So we automatically know that that's an error. So what did we do? We disputed it and now it's no longer there. So there are 4 types of dispute letters: verification, method of verification, violation of FCRA rights, and intent to litigate. So if your first dispute doesn't go through, or they say that it's verified, then you go to round 2. If they say, okay, well, this was our method, then we go to round 3. They say, well, you weren't violated, now we're gonna go to round 4 with intent to litigate. By this time, it should have dropped off of your credit. And I just want to make note that these are basically technicalities that we're getting this deducted. Because sometimes maybe that was your bill, but they have to be able to prove it, so make them prove it. Exactly. So I want to also talk about disputing online versus disputing via certified mail. So online dispute systems can exploit loopholes in the Fair Credit Reporting Act and give the credit reporting agencies an unfair advantage over the consumer. For instance, so Credit Karma has a way that you can dispute your derogatory remarks online. So I would recommend, now me personally, I disputed online, but after research now I'm finding out that it was better. It would have been better if I would have dispute it via certified mail. And the reason for that is because when you dispute online, you don't necessarily have proof of the date. So with certified mail, you get the date that you sent that mail. The agencies have 30 days to respond and to verify your dispute. So with that certified mail, you get that receipt and it says the date that you sent in this dispute. So they only have 30 days to respond, or they have to drop it off of your credit. So with that certified mail, there you have proof. Also, there's in the Fair Credit Reporting Act, by filing online, you also waive some rights as far as if the credit agency isn't exactly responsible for sending you back information. So it's better if you go ahead and send it via mail. Okay, next slide. So how to remove medical collections. HIPAA is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This privacy rule mandates that your personal medical information may not be shared unless there is permissible reason for doing so. HIPAA extends to credit reporting agencies and collecting agencies as well. The HIPAA law will assist you in dealing with delinquent medical collection accounts because in order for the collection agency to verify your debt, they will need to have access to your medical information. If they have access to this information, your rights under the HIPAA law are being violated. So, if you have medical records or accounts on your credit report that are affecting you negatively, as in you owe them, you haven't paid them, then you can definitely still dispute these because your HIPAA rights are most likely being violated because the collection agency has these access to your medical records. So a lot of people don't know that, so they don't dispute it, so they're getting away with it. Now, again, this is a technicality, but you want to use the law, to your benefit. Okay, and then next slide. Reduce credit utilization. So basically, everything that we talked about via the snowball effect or the snowball method is like reducing your credit utilization. So you only want to use 30% of your credit. You don't want to go over that. The more that you're using, that affects your score in a negative way. So pay down your credit card debt. Then also, like I was saying, adjust your W-4s and generate business income, 50, 30, 20 budget in order to start eliminating that debt, and that will help with your credit score. And that was all that I have for you today. Do I have any questions? Dr. McCoy?
Thank you so much, Mrs. McCoy, for this invaluable knowledge. I was wondering, with the snowball effect and trying to increase your credit score, is it best to pay it all at once, or is it true that every time you pay on it, you get extra points, your score is going up? Okay,
so something that affects your credit is your payment history. So the more on-time payments that you have, is better it will affect your credit score in a positive way. So if you're making your payments on time every month, then that is a boost to your credit score. So if you do have debt, I would say pay it all off if you can, but also don't stop using your credit. So if you have bills in your 50% of your budget, so this is money that you have for bills, put it on your credit card and just go ahead and pay it right away. That will continue to have it will, one, keep your credit utilization low because you're paying it off right away, and then also it will keep your credit history and your credit payment time, or your payment history. Does that make sense? Okay. For the record?
I would address three things. First of all, sales. I was in the store, my daughter got me, they were running out of all business. The day before, now I'm not a person for credit, credit cards, I don't have it. give us credit. So clearly, I don't have credit card to this day. I was in a Montgomery store, and they had a blouse on, and I didn't have enough cash to pay for the blouse. So I said, I'll go tomorrow and get it. Sure enough, the blouse was on sale the next day for $10 more. So what kind of credit? That was not a sale fee. That was the same blouse that I looked at before. It was $3,500. When it was on sale, it was a beautiful blouse. Here it was $40 more. So that to me was not a sale. So of course I left it in the store because I just saw the blouse the day before. Well, it was the same thing. And then I had major surgery in 1997. I had major surgery. And my insurance paid a portion. I agreed to pay because I didn't have supplementary insurance. To pay $25 a month. And that was in 1997 that I had that surgery. I paid it off. We agreed for $25 every month I would pay them. I paid them that $25 every month. Don't you know, after a year, they were, well, can you up your payment? I said, did I make an agreement? $25 a month. But I just finished, paying off about 3 years. After my surgery was over about $100,000, whatever it was, from there. And then the next year, the same thing. And the gentleman called, I said to the person, I could tell they were young, think about his voice. So the next one she went, and I guess severe now, they're going on with this. She called the supervisor, and he came. I said that I agreed to pay you $25 a month. I said, have I missed a payment? No, I haven't missed a payment. You know what he said to me? You will never hear from us again. And I never heard from them. I paid it off about 3 years ago. It was a big bill.
Right.
So everything is out of me. But the thing is, you cannot let them control you into overpayment. If I told you I'm going to pay you $25 a month, that's what I did.
Right.
For 10, 15 years, however long it was. But he over them repayment, he person came and said, we'll never hear from me again. And they never called me again. I paid it off and they said to pay off the bill, a receipt for it. You can't let them just say, well, you've been having this for a length of time. But those two things I thought was very important.
Yes, that is true. Everything that says it's on sale isn't exactly on sale to you, okay? Okay, we know how much money we have, and we know how much money that we are budgeting on shopping expenses or on our utility bills and etc. So if you came back the next day and it was way more, it wasn't meant for you.
Well, the next thing I want to say. My son's name is Charles Barker. My name is Christine Barker. My daughter's name is Charlisa Barker. And the head, Charlisa was always something. You know what they did? They started sending the bills to me on the seat. Instead of saying Charlisa Barker, but I know it wasn't mine. They're sending the bill to me. And I go, she's dead and gone. And I know you don't pay off the debt for a dead person. But they can now pick those balances up and start sending it to C. Barker.
Exactly. Be wise and make sure, because that's something similar happened with our family, because we have Luke Jr., Luke Keisha. They'll call about Luke Sr. calling me, Lukeisha. That is not my debt.
That's right.
I'm not that person. I don't even know. I don't know his number. I don't know anything about him.
Y'all did watch that DirecTV though.
We may have watched it, but that was not our debt, and we're not going to pay it. Sister Baker.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your expertise. What I would like to say, my own personal philosophy. We've got to understand people's lives. It tells us how Proverbs 22:7, the rich rulers over the poor, and the borrower is certain to the lender. See, so when we go out and think of that, we owe. Whether it be student loan, whether it be your mortgage, apartment don't know, I know here in our world today, students have, I mean, thousands of dollars that they owe.
Mhm.
And yes, if you are willing to wait them 10 years when they give you that grace, okay.
Not for
Otherwise,
student
you're gonna
loans.
continue to be strapped at the neck on your feet. One of the things I would like to say, it is very important, and I know a lot of us are visual. Sometimes it is so important that we have a visual template of a budget, starting from the highest to the lowest. And then finally, regarding those medical bills, Mark, my youngest used to work in patient financial services for the hospital. When you make an agreement, don't allow them, and this is the same that goes with the Internal Revenue Agency. Because I owed several times to the government. You know your budget. When you make that agreement, it can be as little as $5. Yes, they will come to you every so often asking you to give more, like Mother was saying. My daughter expressed to me, Mama, when you make that $5 agreement, just continue to pay on it every month because you know your budget. $5 is $5.
Right.
Don't let them, ease you into increasing it just because.
Exactly.
They're not going back. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Sister Faye?
When it comes to, thank you again, thank you for
Pleasure.
your presentation. It's very, very informative. My question is it true with Florida law, there's certain debts that after a certain period of time, you don't have to respond to them, and then they just drop off?
Yes, some things will fall off, like, I actually had that on my PowerPoint, but I deleted it. Yeah, it's like 7 years to 10 years, they fall off.
It's like
Bankruptcy,
Yeah, but I think
liens.
there's something that after 3 years, and I was in a workshop one time, and the lady had said it, that there's certain things after 3 years, if you don't, and it has to do, I think, with credit cards or something, like after 3 years, that's the Florida law, not national, Florida law. If you don't respond back to it when they, or don't make a payment on it, then the clock continues. But once you make a payment, like the clock starts over, and then your 7 years, instead of losing those 3 years, it's now tacked on, and the life extends even further.
Mhm. I'm not exactly familiar with that. Were you about to say something to Sister Faye?
What happens is, yes, it's supposed to drop off in 7 years or 10 years or whatever, but another collection agency will pick that up and then they start back, contact you. So it just continues to roll.
Because it goes from collection agency to collection agency, so. I'm gonna get Dr. McCoy and then Sister Montgomery.
I was just gonna piggyback off of Sister Faye and Sister Baker and to say that is scriptural. In Leviticus, it talks about the year of Jubilee, and when the year of Jubilee came, all of their debts were forgiven. And so you have to be so careful. It will come off your credit, but as they're saying, another company will buy it, and they are so slick. And like, if you just Google your name, last week I just Googled my name to see what would come up. Every residence I've ever had came up, and everybody who lives in my household, it came up. And so people can do a simple search and find out information about you and give you prompters to make you think it's real.
Right.
They'll even send a letter, and in bold print, they'll say you owe this, and then in tiny print, it will say the law does not allow them to collect on a debt after 7 years.
Right.
And so this is not affecting your credit or anything. So I just don't want us to have that mindset, I'm a Christian, it's my debt, I owe it. Leviticus talks about the year of Jubilee. God forgives, and our debt is often forgiven. So if you don't owe it, don't pay it.
Amen. Sister Montgomery?
So kind of speaking to what she's talking about, on your credit score, if one of those, say you were at year 6, and this is something I know from school, if you're at year 6, and a company contacts you, and you acknowledge that clock starts over.
Right.
So that supposed to pay our bills, if we thought, we're supposed to pay. That's credit out there, we're supposed to pay our bills, and the year duly, and, all this, pay our bills. That's for the folks who couldn't pay their bills, so let's keep that in mind, the folks who lost everything, and then that's what that law was in place for. It wasn't in place for us to go out and buy TVs, sold and all that,
Right, so, right, now, some of these bills, we need to go ahead and pay. Like, if you have a credit card with outstanding debt, you need to go ahead and utilize that snowball method and get it paid off. You have a beautiful car, you want to get it paid off, we need to utilize that snowball method and go ahead and get it paid off, just like our homes and things like that.
I was gonna say too, what you're saying, if a creditor calls you and you acknowledge, then yes, you do have to. But if you tell them, I'm not sure, why is not, for instance, T-Mobile? Why didn't T-Mobile call me? Is this a scam? Have them send me their original contract.
Mhm.
They can't do that.
Right.
Therefore, they have to stop calling me by law.
Exactly. You need to get everything verified. If they cannot verify that you owe this debt, then you do not owe this debt,
That's right.
even if it's your debt. Technically, you don't owe it.
Right.
The law gives you these technicalities. Okay? If you don't know what's going on, then you just have to pay it. But I'm telling you what's going on. You don't have to pay it. They need to prove that I owe it. Where's the signature?
Not by asking you your social security.
Exactly. Don't give them your social security number over the phone. Right. Don't give away that valuable information. Sister Wilson.
I know for a fact that we live with, if you owe taxes, married, tax, we can pay his tax, pay my tax.
But you're no longer twain. You're the one.
So, with those taxes, when taxes got to the point where it was getting aggravated, we went and filed bankruptcy. But bankruptcy do nothing but taxes. If we had just waited the 10 years, the taxes would have just dropped off. But by filing that bankruptcy, that stopped those taxes from dying. And that's why we got more than payment today because of those taxes.
Definitely do your due diligence and research what is going on. Like I just gave you all of this information on how you can dispute these negative remarks on your credit and helping you budget. These are things you can research. So you owe taxes, you think you need to file bankruptcy, just do a simple Google search and see if that will help you. Maybe it's a different way to go about it. And we know now, because of Sister Wilson's experience, that is not the way to go about it. It won't help with taxes. Okay? And that's all the time.
I'm sorry, really quick. Most people don't know this either. For student debts, we have them. If you do a public service, even though that's not in your field, you work at a hospital, non-charity, what you can do is call and say, well, I really can't afford this student debt. They'll put you up in paying $10 a month. As long as you pay that $10 a month for 10 years consecutively, the rest of your debt falls off.
Okay, so, and like I was saying on last week, you need to call these people that you owe and figure out a way that you can get this debt removed. Okay, but that's all the time that I have for today. Thank you so much for listening.
God is good.